Join Kids Hut family.
What's the matter, Tofu?
This maths project is so difficult. I don't see a point in doing something so difficult.
But you'll fail if you don't do it, Tofu.
I think it's better to fail than to take this much trouble, Tia.
Imagine if Eliza had thought so too.
I'm sure her project wasn't this difficult.
Once upon a time, there lived a king. He had 11 sons and a daughter called Eliza. The boys loved their sister dearly, and the girl adored her brothers. Everything was lovely and peaceful in the kingdom, till one day, the king summoned his children.
Children, I have something to tell you.
What is it, Father?
I have been very lonely since your mother's death, and I have decided to get married again. Your new mother will be very nice and she will love you immensely.
Soon after this, the king married a beautiful woman. But what he didn't know was that the woman was a wicked witch who had no intentions of loving the children. The children discovered this the very first time they met her.
Oh no, Mother hates us. What will we do?
Don't worry, my brothers. We'll be fine as long as we have each other.
But the new queen had other plans for them.
I don't want to see these children around me anymore. I will get rid of them immediately.
She arranged for Eliza to be sent to live far away with a farmer and his wife. And she made up some mean lies about the 11 boys, forcing the king to banish them from the kingdom. Once alone with the boys, she cursed them.
I will make sure that even if you come back to this kingdom and castle, no one will recognize you. I curse you all to turn into ugly birds.
But the boys were so good at heart that the evil spell did not work on them. Instead, they turned into 11 beautiful swans. Before the witch could do anything, they all flew away. Time passed and Eliza turned 15 years old. For her birthday, she could meet the king.
I must keep the daughter and father away from each other. I don't want the foolish king to bring her back into the castle.
So she used one of her tricks and turned Eliza into a very ugly girl.
When the king saw her, he was furious. My Eliza was really beautiful. Who is this fraud pretending to be my daughter? Throw her out of the castle.
The soldiers did as commanded. And threw Eliza out of the castle. Heartbroken, Eliza wandered into the forest.
I wish my brothers were here with me. I am so lonely without them.
As Eliza walked through the jungle, she came upon a pond. She stopped there. As she washed her face with the pond's water, the witch's trick wore off, and Eliza turned into her beautiful self again. She was just sitting there when an old lady approached her.
What are you doing in the jungle, my dear?
I am looking for 11 princes. They are my brothers. Have you seen them?
I haven't seen 11 princes, but I have seen 11 beautiful swans with crowns on their heads. If you hurry, you might still find them by the riverbank.
Eliza thanked the old woman and rushed to the river. After a few hours of walking, she came upon the river. As she stood there looking for her brothers, she saw 11 white swans approaching. They landed just near her and turned one by one into a prince.
Brothers, I am so happy to see you all. It's me, Eliza. Sister, you found us. We thought we'd lost you forever. I'm so happy to see you all, but what had happened to you? The witch cursed us. During the day we fly around like wild swans, but at night we come back to our human form. Each year we can go home once and visit the castle. We will be leaving for the castle once again tomorrow. You must come with us, sister. Yes, brother, I will come with you all. But I must also find a way to free you from this terrible curse.
The next morning, the swans asked Eliza to sit on a net. Then they picked up the nets in their beaks and flew towards the castle. They flew the whole day and halted near a cave at night. Tired, they all fell asleep very soon. As Eliza slept, she dreamt of a fairy who looked like the old woman from the forest.
To break the curse on your brothers, you must pluck the sharp nettle from the graveyard near this cave. Crush it and knit a cloak with it for each one of them. But you must not say a single word till your entire task is complete. Otherwise, your brothers will die. But you must know that this won't be an easy task. It will prick and hurt and make your hands bleed. Eliza woke up in the morning, determined to save her brothers.
The swans had all gone out to collect food. So she made her way to the graveyard and plucked the nettle. It pricked and cut her hands badly. But she did not care. She just wanted to save her brothers. She brought the nettle back to the cave and started doing what the fairy had instructed. A little mouse saw what she was doing and decided to help her. At night, the princess returned to the cave. And saw Eliza working with the nettle. Her hands were bleeding.
What's going on, Eliza? What are you doing? Why won't you answer us, Eliza? Are you okay?
But Eliza wouldn't answer because she knew she mustn't say a word till her task was over.
I think she has taken up a task and will not talk till it is over.
The boys decided not to disturb her anymore. Instead, they brought food and water for her and fed her with their own hands while she kept on knitting the clothes. This went on for many days. Eliza kept working on the cloaks, even though her hands pained and hurt her. The little mouse also continued to help her. They made one cloak after the other till only one more cloak was left to be completed. But Eliza had run out of nettle for it, so she headed to the graveyard for more. As she was plucking the nettle, she became surrounded by a handsome prince and his men.
Hello, what are you doing here in a graveyard? Can I help you?
Eliza did not answer him.
How dare you defy the prince? Answer him now. Stop it. Forgive me, my lady. I can see that perhaps you can't talk. And looking at your hands, I think you need some rest and medical care. Let me and my men escort you to my castle, where you will be taken care of.
The prince had fallen in love with Eliza, and to take care of her, he took her to the castle. Eliza had no choice but to go with him. She could not speak and explain her situation to him. Though she was completely taken care of at the castle, Eliza was not happy. She wept dearly because she worried for her brothers.
I cannot understand your sadness, so I sent my men back to where I had met you. They found these cloaks in the cave nearby. I had them bring these here for you. I think they belong to you.
For the first time in many days, Eliza felt happy. Now she just needed to complete the last cloak and find her brothers somehow. So that night, she sneaked out of the castle and went back to the graveyard to pluck the nettle. There was some noise behind her. She was surprised to see the prince there.
What are you doing here? My men warned me that you are a witch. Who works with nettle from a graveyard? I did not believe them, but now I do.
Your punishment for being a witch is death. Once again, Eliza was taken away from the graveyard. But this time, she was put in a jail cell. Her death sentence would be carried out the next morning. Just then, her cell door opened. It was a soldier with all the nettle cloaks.
Here, keep all this junk with you.
Eliza felt terrible. The last cloak was half complete, but she had no more nettle. She didn't know what to do. Just then, the little mouse appeared at her cell window. He had brought nettle with him. Eliza quickly took the nettle from him and got to work. The mouse scurried back to the graveyard to get some more. Both of them worked together through the night. By the time the soldiers came to take Eliza away, she had readied the 11th cloak too.
It is time for your punishment. Get into that cart outside.
Eliza followed the instructions and she took the cloaks with her. She kept hoping to see the swans one last time. Right then, the 11 white swans came and sat around her. Eliza quickly threw the cloaks on them, and one by one, each swan turned into a prince.
Let go of her. She is a princess. Yes, she is our sister and she is innocent. I have completed my task and I can speak now. I am not a witch, but I was working to free my brothers from the witch's curse. Her brothers explained the whole situation to the prince.
I am sorry. I misunderstood you. It would be my honor to marry someone as brave and determined as you. So the prince and Eliza got married. Then all of them went to Eliza's father and told him the truth about the witch. The king had the witch punished by death and welcomed his children back home. So you see, Tofu, sometimes a task may be painful and hard, but if you stick to it, results will come.
Yes, I see that now. And I also see that sisters are the best.
What is the matter, Tofu?
I wanted to be the class leader, Tia, but I didn't win the poetry contest last week, and today I accidentally dropped the fish bowl and it broke. My teacher had to put the class fish into plastic bags and take them home. Oh, yes. I'm sure I won't become the class leader now. I'm sure no one in class likes me now.
I understand why you feel like that, Tofu. But don't lose hope. Even the worst situations can lead to something nice.
I don't think that can ever happen, Tia.
Well, it happened to the musicians of Bremen.
Musicians of Bremen? What happened to them?
Musicians of Bremen. Once upon a time, a man had a donkey. When the donkey grew old and sick, the man decided to kill him and sell his skin. The donkey understood his master's plans and ran away and took the road to Bremen.
I will go to Bremen and become a musician.
On his way, he saw an old dog lying in the grass.
Dog, what are you doing here?
I have become so old. I cannot gather the sheep for my master like I used to, so my master beats me.
Why don't you come with me to Bremen? We will become musicians there.
The dog agreed, and the two new friends continued their journey. In some time, they came upon a cat sitting by the road. Looking like the skies were about to come down on him.
Cat, what's wrong with you? Why do you look so sullen?
It is my mistress. I have grown old and cannot chase the mice like I used to.
so she has planned to get rid of me by drowning me in the river.
Oh, that's not nice. I have an idea. The donkey and I are going to Bremen to become musicians. Why don't you join us? You can sing a jolly tune too.
The cat liked the idea very much and made his escape with his two new friends. They had only walked a while when they came upon a cock. He was singing without a stop.
Cock, what is wrong with you? This is not the hour for you to sing.
Well, my mistress is having a big dinner party over, and she has instructed the cook to cook me for a soup. My head will be cut off this evening, so I'm singing till my neck and throat are intact.
Is that it? We all are going to Bremen to become musicians. Why don't you come with us? After all, you already know beats and tunes.
And so the party set forth on their journey to Bremen, which was still very far. As night fell, they felt tired and hungry.
We must find a spot to eat and rest for the night.
Everybody agreed and they decided to look for a place to spend the night. In some time, they came upon a lonely house. Its lights were lit and they could hear the sounds of a gathering from inside. The cat climbed up a tree and peeped in from an open window.
It is a gang of robbers, and they have delicious spread of meats and drinks before them.
I could use a couple of bones with some meat right now.
And I could with something to drink. My throat is parched.
Let us find a way to drive the robbers away.
The four friends huddled together and at last came up with a plan to drive the robbers away. The donkey put his front feet on the ledge of the window and the dog climbed over his back. The cat climbed on the dog and the cock flew on the top of the cat's head. Once they were ready, they all performed their music together. The donkey brayed, the dog barked, the cat mewed, and the cock cock-a-doodled. The music was so loud that the windows of the house shook and threatened to come down upon the robbers. The robbers were scared by these unimaginable sounds and quickly flee from the house. As soon as they were gone, the four musicians took over the dining table and fed themselves full. Once they were done, they switched off the lights and went to sleep.
I will sleep on the straw.
I will sleep by the door.
I will sleep upon the hearth by the warmth of the fireplace.
I will sleep on this beam of the house. Soon they all fell asleep. A little away from the house, the robbers watched as the lights of the house went off.
We shouldn't have been scared like this. One of you go back in and tell us what is going on inside the house.
And so one of the men made his way back into the house. The house was so dark and quiet that he went to the kitchen to strike a light. But he mistook the cat's shiny eyes for coal and put a burning match to them. Shocked by the attack, the cat jumped on the robber and scratched his face. This scarred the robber, and he ran towards the back of the door to find a way out of the house. But in the dark, he accidentally stepped on the dog that bit his leg. All the commotion woke the cock, and he came flying down to land on the robber's head and cried, "Cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo." Ultimately, the donkey kicked him out of the house with his hind legs. The robber ran to the rest of the gang.
Chief, the house is haunted. An evil witch lives there. She scratched my face. At the door stands a man with a knife. He cut my leg. In the backyard is a monster that hit me with a club. And on the roof sits a judge who screamed, "Bring the knave up, too."
Hearing this, the robbers got on their horses and left the house forever. But everything went so well for the four musicians that they decided to live in that house forever. And never made it to Bremen. So you see, Tofu, even when you think that nothing is working out, all you have to do is keep trying and things will turn around. Thanks, Tia. I always feel so much better after talking to you. You're always welcome, Tofu. Tofu?
But why so? I'm just trying to get my ball out.
But see those red ants. You better be careful.
Thanks, Tia.
Sit. I'll tell you an interesting story. The Fox and the Sick Lion. Once upon a time, there lived a lion in the forest. As the lion was growing old, he was unable to hunt for his food. He thought that without food, he would die of starvation. So the lion thought of a plan. He decided to lie down in the cave and pretend that he is ill. And whosoever will come to meet him will become his prey. Being the king of the jungle, the lion announced he was sick and summoned the animals to come and hear his last will. The lion put his sinful plan to practice and it started working. Poor animals didn't know about his wicked plan and fell into his trap. Many of his well-wishers got killed. One day, a fox came to visit the sick lion. The fox was clever and discovered the trick. He stood on the outside of the cave at a respectful distance and asked,
How are you, sir?
I am not feeling well at all. But why don't you come inside to meet me?
No, thank you, sir. I noticed that there are many prints of feet entering your cave, but I see no trace of any returning. Still, if I come inside, I would be a fool.
and the fox saved his life and informed other animals too. So Tofu, the moral of the story is you should never trust a fake person. Wasn't last night's slumber party fun, Tofu?
Oh, I had a blast. Let's do it again.
I agree, but I noticed that you weren't being very nice to Cousin Rob. You were always with your friend Josh.
Cousin Rob started it.
Started what?
Josh is one of my best friends, and Cousin Rob told me that he didn't like Josh as much as I did.
There's nothing wrong in that, Tofu.
I don't understand. Why not?
Shall I explain it to you with a story?
Yes, I want to hear the story.
A very long time ago, there lived a mighty lion in a jungle. One day, he went to the river to drink water. But his leg got stuck in the thick, slushy mud of the riverbank. No matter how much he tried, his leg wouldn't come out. He called out for help. But alas, there was none. And so he remained stuck in the mud. After a few days, a kind jackal came to the same spot of the river to drink water. He saw the lion stuck in the mud. "Your Majesty, are you all right?"
No, Jackal. I am stuck in the mud. I cannot move. I have been here for days now.
"Give me a moment, Your Majesty. Let me see what I can do." The jackal quickly crossed over to the riverside where the lion was stuck. With his paws, he dug out the mud where the lion's leg was caught. "I think your leg should be free now. Please try and come out." The lion tried to move, but he couldn't. His leg had become stiff after being in the same position for so many days. Seeing this, the jackal made more efforts to free the lion. He pushed him and pulled him till he finally came out of the mud. The lion was very happy to be able to move freely after so many days.
Thank you, kind Jackal. You have saved me.
"You are welcome, Your Majesty." "Now I must get back home."
Where will you go? Why don't you come and stay with me? You've saved me, and now you are my friend for life.
The jackal accepted the lion's offer and both grew their own families. But they continued to live together and hunt together. Their children would even play together. But the lioness did not like the friendship between the jackal and the lion. And she conveyed the same to the lady jackal. "The lioness told me that the lion does not want us to live here with him and his family." Hearing this, the jackal was very upset and went to see the lion. "I thought we were friends, but if you did not want my family and me to live here with you, you should have told me so. Instead, you conveyed your message to me through the lioness and the lady jackal."
My friend, I don't know what you are talking about.
"We are leaving."
No, my friend, don't leave me and go. I have not done anything of that sort. I want you to stay with me.
The jackal understood what had happened. "I am sorry, friend. I understand your sincerity and love towards me. I think I judged you too quickly. It is not you who wants me gone, but the lioness. I shouldn't live here any longer."
No, you don't have to go. I will speak to the lioness.
"No, don't worry about it. My family and I will live in another home. But you and I will still remain friends. It is best for both families." Though the lion was very sad, He agreed, and so the jackal made another home for himself and his family. But his friendship with the lion remained. They met every day, went on hunts together, and shared lives good and bad till the end of their lives.
The lioness didn't like the jackal, even though the lion and he were best friends. And she knew that the jackal had saved the lion once upon a time.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, Tofu. Sometimes you may like someone very much, but your family may not feel the same way about them.
Oh, I get it now. Let's call Cousin Rob and others for one more slumber party. I promise I will behave better this time. For your favorite rhymes, stories, and more, join Kids Hut family. Subscribe here.